Chapter 45. Soon after the train ride. Emily and her dear old Subaru Glutton, as in for punishment, cruised along the dusty, barely graded road. She never had liked the desert, all pokey and poisonous, and a distinct lack of proper shade. After the Mexican jungle debacle, Emily moved to Colorado, despite telling Sasha about returning to the Midwest. She wanted mountains, twisty roads, and ponderosa pine-scented air. Not endless plains of monocrops and what now seemed like small mines. Plus, after all the drama of the expedition, Emily just needed some time off. From everything, really. She needed a detox, clear out the 9, and honestly, all the negative shit surrounding it. But even after a year in the Centennial State, Emily just couldn't get back into the rhythm of Reggie society. It was odd living undosed in Newtonia, as Sasha called it. Oh, it was solid enough. Although inescapable might be a more apt description of the feeling it invoked in her. Emily had peeled back so many layers of reality that it all seemed superficial and forced now, forever changed in her post-9 mind. Politics, religion, consumerism, and crazies. It all just felt downgraded somehow, like a distracting, shiny veneer over the ultimate, underlying nature of the universe. And all these disjointed feelings and sensations were even more confusing to Emily than all the division, strife, and douchebaggery sweeping the globe. She couldn't even go to the damn grocery store without enduring unsolicited, inaccurate, and usually aggro rants. Food deliveries it is, then. That damn jungle had left a slow-acting, poisonous barb of doubt in her old, mostly happy life. Her perception never felt completely accurate unless she considered it through the filter of those mystical yet confusing herbal experiences. Always refuse a tour of the sausage factory, Emily thought with a bittersweet smile, as the punishing desert sun beat down on her and Glutton. Eventually, though, Sasha had come slinking out of the shadows and back into Emily's life. The unscheduled knock on her secret, off-grid cottage door nearly made Emily poop her pants. Sasha had somehow found her, and there she stood, pleading face, wine, and apologies in hand. Without a word, Emily relented, letting her in. And then, also without a word, she headed straight for a corkscrew. The moat-peppered light filtered through Emily's wide and high windows as they swirled and sipped from delicate glasses. Emily, first let me say I am so sorry. It's only now, with the 10, and all the new research I've been doing, that... Emily let out a sharp, primal laugh that surprised even her. Sasha, that is the shittiest apology ever. Do you see what you just did? You launched straight into all about what you're doing. Why are you even here if you're going to come at me like that? Emily could tell this hurt Sasha, who was looking very tired suddenly. Slamming the rest of her wine, Sasha's face contorted in the struggle of how to genuinely reach her old friend. I am painfully aware of all my faults, but I have to get this done, despite how fucked up I am, or how blatantly self-serving all this must seem. Do you know how difficult, hell, impossible it is to conceptualize this stuff, let alone convey it? Okay, so apologies aren't exactly in my wheelhouse at the moment. Or ever, Emily thought, dryly sipping her wine. But Em, you already know what I'm gonna say, right? Sasha started. It was a little on the nose, but still Emily's favorite flick. Shocked by the sense memories that suddenly popped into her head, Emily sucked in a colossal gasp, then let out an equally colossal exclamation. Ah, that frickin' rooftop, she said, jumping to the edge of her seat, almost spilling her wine in the effort. How can I still be mind-sealed to Sasha without the 9? Son of a bitch ball. Yes, Em, that frickin' rooftop. And with that, they both howled with laughter at their sitcom on acid relationship. A laugh track and a wah-wah-wah sound effect for their many pratfalls were all that was missing. Okay, mildly interested, so go on, and use all the small words, would ya? It's not even noon yet, and this is a lot. Emily said, her empathy winning out over their sordid past. M, the black seed. It extends the effects of the 9, just as I predicted. Show off. It kills the half-life of whatever needs killing. It's nature's perfect biological hall monitor, keeping its squinty molecules trained on the craziest ingredients I've thrown at it. As much as a plant medicine can be bulletproof, the black seed is it. To annoy her, Emily sipped more wine, with her face a deadpan mask of fortitude. Oh, sweet goddess, really? Look, there is no normal to come back to within the altered spaces it creates. It sounds crazy, believe me, I know. But when I cycle off the 10, the day-to-day consensus grind of Reggie reality is the drug. And through AI analysis and refinement of the stages with test subjects, I've normalized that constant, alien inner space. But by the time I've proven my theories, that whole journey, that, process of discovery, of validation, had unforeseen side effects. All that research, the place it happened. Well, I inadvertently created a nurturing home for that inner space. A community, M. I'm not alone anymore. Sasha confessed in a sheepish, almost paranoid tone. Oh, Sasha, what did you do? Did you start an ashram or something equally kookadoo? Should I be drinking this wine? 'Cause... Emily asked in a mixture of uncomfortable humor and squeamish foreboding. She refilled their cups either way. No. Look, when we split up, I realized something. Okay, a shit ton of somethings. I could go on, and I get it, all the somethings, Emily huffed, rolling her eyes. From her experience, the 9 did indeed embody the grandeur that Sasha was rambling on about. It allowed you to loosen or discard the moorings and measures of perspective, scale, distance, size, proportion, time, light, sound. The choose really could allow you to reach for the stars, hell, put you between them. Eventually, though, you had to come back down to earth once the 9 finally wore off, leaving your heart and soul saddled with the lonely reality of just how very far away those heavenly bodies remained. At least, that's how Emily saw it after her psychonautic jungle journey and subsequent splashdown in Colorado. Could the 10 really be that different? Put a bow on it, babe. You're in a foot race with this here wine and currently losing, Emily snarked. She was enjoying this, making the great Sasha Dirt squirm. Yes, ma'am. Well, I had to protect the 10. You know all that. But once I was in a secure location, I started cultivating the black seed. Then it was just a matter of finding the correct ratios, exploring its full potential, creating strains, yada yada. But it was tough to grow out. I had to mother it, you know? Like I said, nurturing home, and stuff and junk. And then it seemed like overnight we ran out of space. I mean, think of all the plants that went into the 9. Anyway, so naturally, I bought a ranch. Naturally, of course, Emily thought sarcastically. Like any rational gazillionaire would. It's way, way deep in the sticks. Like banjo pickin' deep. I'd say you'd hate it, but I know you won't. The facility, at least. Don't tell her it's in the desert, Sasha reminded herself, so close to having her once best friend back. Like a book already written. So much for free will, again. Thanks, Miss Cleo. Emily snorted into her wine. Sasha laughed as she reached for water, her throat dry from talking. I know. But anyways, let's just say the building permits might not cover everything I put out there. Specifically, the 10,000 square foot lab/bunker under my primary residence, Sasha said with air quotes as Emily chuckled. Still funny as ever, Sasha, Emily thought. She had definitely missed her friend's sharp wit. But, once I got the 10 straightened out and built the facility, stuff just started happening, falling into place organically. Like? Emily prompted, getting a little tired of coaxing details out of her. Like, I'm talking cosmic coincidences out the wazoo. Synchronicities at conferences I shadowed and seekers finding me for no good reason. I was cautious, of course. Paranoid old me. Sometimes I even wore wigs and prosthetics to disguise myself, but that was the fun part. They laughed, as Emily imagined Sasha wearing Groucho Marx glasses with accompanying big, bushy eyebrows and mustache. I know it sounds batshit crazy, but really, I was just probing the scene until... The scene probed you back, Emily said, giggling. Ha ha, smartass. But yes, listen, the 10 is different for everyone. There are general effects, but each stack has to be fine-tuned and individualized. A lot of people just can't handle that process. It's not their fault or anything. It just comes down to genetics, mismatched biochemistry, and allergic reactions. Those sorts of complications. And we screen for mental health issues, but part of sacred work can look a hell of a lot like psychosis, Oh, I know, Emily quipped, hitching a thumb at Sasha, which elicited a swat to her leg. The easy camaraderie they had shared in the jungle was seeping back into their hearts, just like the mixed blessing of the Chews. And Emily hated her for that. For being sucked back into that swirling, exhausting vortex of weird happenings. Couldn't she just live out her little life in the Shire? Get some cats, lots of cats, or collect cookie jars, say, in the shape of cats? As they laughed and drank, Sasha unconsciously spun the small black bead bracelet she wore like she was on Wheel of Fortune or something. So, what's up with the beads, oh llama my llama? What, this old thing? Sasha said, holding it out like an engagement ring. Just one of our stealthy new delivery systems. Multi-layer tablets. Waterproof coatings, basic spy shit, hey. All you gotta do is twist, snap, and then, just chew on it for a second. That abrades the glaze, so the first layer can dissolve in the stomach. Plus, the amylase in your saliva speeds up the Sasha said, demonstrating with some comically sexual exaggerated tongue flicks. So your target audience is what, chameleons? Emily laughed. I am almost afraid to let you try it. You haven't dulled in the least, lady, sharp as a damn tack, Sasha said, threatening her with a good time. Sorry, I know I keep breaking your flow. I'll behave. Really, go on, Emily promised, her toes crossed. Where was I? Oh, so after that quick release dose, the enteric candy center, if you will, moves on down the road into the gut. No loss of potency, easier separation of stages, effects. Less of that, remember the drop after stage 3? Emily nodded, immediately lost in the memory of all those magical yet innocent-looking white packets. Anywho, we got that lull down to just a few minutes. Now there's no need to get the heart rate up to fight the sleep impulse, all that running. No layover on this trip, baby, haha, Sasha exclaimed with animated excitement. Emily was impressed, and that made her even more cautious. All this sounded complicated and illegal, knowing what she had learned about those herbs and chemicals. Sasha watched Emily mulling it all over and observed her energy shifts. She had already taken 2 beads herself specifically for this pitch. To answer your question, it's all about degrees of separation and layers of deep trust. As for the more exotic ingredients, we just end up importing them for our legitimate product lines. The paperwork lists artsy-fartsy supplies like fiberfill for meditation cushions, paints, dyes. Well, and our cosmetic line, which is a whole other tangent. But we can get into that later if you're curious, Sasha continued, about to reel Emily in. And with your help, it'll all be based here in the States. But individual states, with not so much as a pinky toe over their respective borders. No interstate commerce or trafficking. Then we control the whole enchilada. As much as I love enchiladas, it's still illegal on the federal level. And most states, too. Come on now, Sasha, Emily said, folding her arms. For now, Sasha countered, leaning back for the first time, her arms spread like the wings of Icarus over the back of the couch. Meaning, Emily said, leaning forward to balance out the feng shui and all. Look, with cannabis blowing up, everybody and their grandma wants access to dispensaries. Even if they only smoke it up once a year on 420 or whatever weak shit Reggies do to cut loose, Sasha said with a dismissive chuckle. And a few states have already reduced their police responses on entheogens to the lowest concern possible, Em. The lowest. Have anything to do with that? Emily countered as she squinted at her friend. Not yet. I was holding back, running the numbers. But soon I'll be pressing hard, starting with smaller, friendlier municipalities. Creative enclaves, artist towns, seeker communities. Any place that has keep blank weird as part of their town motto. You know? We would, set up shop. Start making real friends and connections, branching out. Spreading our new culture like mycelium. Emily sensed a lot of this was already taking place, and Sasha was trying to be cautious in what she disclosed. Or perhaps just project false modesty. You can never tell with her. Okay, well, what about the nootropics? Synthetics. I know most are legal, research chemicals and all, but dicier. Definite gray areas, right? And you had so many kinds of those frickin' chews. Sasha, what exactly did I ingest out there? Emily asked, a little anger rising back through her hazy memories. She had felt deceived in the jungle, even amongst the excitement and ecstasy. Even now, she didn't fully trust her. When all Sasha wanted to do was explain and move past her shitty transgressions. We just get legit scripts from friends, or use ringers if the seeker isn't into chemicals. Some just want it all natural. Nothing wrong with that, Sasha explained, slightly judgy. She could see Emily fighting herself again, trying to decide without the aid of the 10 and handicapped by alcohol. But as Sasha psychically pushed, using her mental training, she could also feel the most productive path through the probability field. Right here and right now, Sasha knew she could reach into Emily's mental hall of mirrors, grab the right hand, and pull her back into another adventure. But to do it, Sasha would need to mentally break away from their conversation. She would have to reach deep into her own mental hall of mirrors, her second world, and grab her desired alternative universe by the short hairs. Not only grasp it, but turn it inside out, like a space-time t-shirt. Focus on your breath, Sasha. Lower your heart rate. Slower, slower. Find the spot behind your eyes. Flex it. Hold that. Hold. Now, ask the universe. Show me, Sasha requested, of the all, the great mystery. Then, time dilated inside her pocket reality, followed by a weightless sensation. She could feel the pressure of accumulating gravitational waves, like she was pulling mass out of the earth and into her body. Her forehead frosted with sweat as she got hints and hits from the future. A bombardment of prophetic photons, mixing with the herbal magic in her blood, turned her into an organic Polaroid picture. Just as she was about to decipher that celestial shower of glittery light, she was instantly slammed back into the present. Sasha? Emily said, her eyebrows raised. What? Sasha said, as if she had forgotten her own name. You just closed your eyes and sat there for 5 minutes straight and wouldn't answer me. Where were you? Emily said, extremely uncomfortable with such one-sided disconnects ever since the jungle. The probability field, Sasha replied honestly, but as casually as if she had just said the grocery store. Weirdly, she just continued as if nothing had happened. We are creating procedures, protocols, and like I said, a home, an extended family of seekers. Call it whatever you want. A counterculture, collective, a movement, a tribe. But all this stuff, herbs, drugs, and spiritual training, it's all just filters, right? They reveal, magnify, parse out, Emily just stared at her, looking tired all of a sudden. The endless monologue, intrusive memories, and wine weren't helping her attention span or Sasha's efforts to sway her. "Okay, just give me a second," Sasha started, grabbing her tablet off the coffee table and tapping hurriedly. "Look at this, just look." After rolling her eyes, Emily took the tablet reluctantly, trying to muster up some interest. After a few seconds of wondering what she was looking at, she saw it and fell right back down the rabbit hole. It was a time-lapse video using visible, UV, and infrared light overlays. In it, Emily watched a room of test subjects milling around, each tracked with biometrics. A superimposed timer ran on each individual, moving as they did, revealing their trails and interactions in the strategically illuminated environment. Low indirect light. Smart. "All these people are dosed, I assume?" Emily queried, switching into scientist mode. "Yes, all dosed, but with stepped mg per kg, nuts and bolts. Anyways, look at that," Sasha declared, her finger tracing the patterns like a conductor. "It's a link, a communication system, but so much more, Em. See how the AI data breaks down, diffusing the higher the dose gets? And yet, the level of empathy and prediction accuracy ramps up, despite being reduced in the deliverable analysis. Look at the audio feeds, the transcript," Sasha explained, forgetting about the small words caveat. "Yes, and," Emily responded critically, impressed but unwilling to give Sasha a win. After all, it had been a long time without a call or a message. "And the 10 injects Newtonia with something that can't be quantified, not wholly. We may never know how it works, but it does. I have gone deep, alone and linked up like them. Mariana freaking trench deep. So far out there I barely make it back sometimes, you know?" "And you're saying this is back?" Em asked rhetorically, her hand waving at Sasha's crazy eyes. "I don't know if I should offer you a cheese tray or hide my sharp objects." Sasha burst out laughing, almost spraying Emily with a mouthful of wine. "Oh, Em, I wish you could have been there, that first moment in the cave. It was just so primal, as if I had satisfied a spiritual hunger long dormant in my genes or something. Everyone talks about the multiverse and argues about whether it exists, right? But the instant I touched that resin handprint, that mirror across time, of my own free will, mind you, and absorbed the 10, And just like that, she was drifting again. So, that was what she meant by left behind and exposed to inadvertently, Emily thought, remembering Sasha's supposed explanation of the 10 back in the jungle. "Sasha, stay grounded, would ya? If I wanted to talk to myself, I would have kept the wine and kicked your ass out an hour ago. Jeez." Sasha consciously emerged back into her own timeline and smiled a deep, motherly smile as she sighed. "Magic, Em. It's just that simple. Call it whatever the fuck you want." "Woo-woo, frou-frou, juju," Sasha said, as her hands made ridiculous New Agey gestures in the air. "Yeah?" "Yeah," Sasha huffed into her wine glass. "But Sasha, again, so what? Even if the effects can reach far beyond our own heads, what is the point of it all?" "Honestly, my friend, I have no idea," Sasha admitted, taking off her bracelet of the 10 and tossing it to Emily with an excited smile. "But wouldn't it be awesome to finally find out what the hell happens on that rooftop?"